home from school, I couldn't wait to watch something. It was called Gilligan's Island. And I got a question.
Yes.
Was that reality TV for us? Because I felt like it was. We tuned in every week because we expected every week they were going to make it off, right? That's what we thought. We just knew somebody was going to come around
and save them.
Was that the first reality TV for us?
I think so. That and The Love Boat.
Oh. I like that one.
And what's his name? Jack Tripper?
Three's Company?
Three's Company, yeah.
Hey. Even at a young age, I remember thinking to myself, man, he lucky. At a young age. Now, I don't know what he was supposed to do, but I know I remember thinking, man, he lucky. He lucky.
Most men in America felt the same way.
I don't know what he was supposed to do. At that age, I couldn't have told you what he was supposed to do. But he was lucky.
Yeah, he was lucky.
Okay. I thought they did a good job with both landlords. I liked Don Knotts when he used to come upstairs with his scarf showing off that 70s flair. That scarf was legit. And then the old head, because I wasn't homophobic, but it was funny. And I laughed at it because every time Jack would do something, get caught uncompromising, and be like, I don't know, maybe Jack is. I'm with you, Mr. Landlord. Look at that Jack sideways. Okay, you add it. See, I just had.
Is there anything better than a trip getting ready? Nope. For a long journey where our podcast released a new epi, searching for a fade fiend, new fixation. Giving this a subscribe is the same sensation. Started with the day ones, they gave us fuel to support the season. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here for a reason. Notification bells, text some friends, all to let you know. Check your Bluetooth, connect, talk your ways and I know.
Welcome in, everyone. We are officially in spring break week. I'm going to tell you, I already know some people have, let's just say, a low point when it comes to the year. You have been anxiously awaiting this moment, right? No. Sorry, that's not what I meant. Because you got to spend the whole week there with the kids. Now, I've heard the good things, I've heard the bad things. So the first good things, kudos to those families that have actually been anxiously looking forward to this. Jokes aside, because you're going to take a family trip. I respect that. I appreciate that because you are exactly what the perfect family dream is. So good job to you guys. What I do also want to say is those who are, let's just say, the opposite of that. How y'all doing already? I just want to know, do you guys feel as comfortable to finally say, spring break, I'm here for a week straight with the kids. I'm built for this. Like I'm ready for it. If y'all could say that, I'm okay with that. But I know for a fact a lot of people are struggling with this. Shawnee, I'm very curious. When spring break rolls around, do you have any friends or family who are now finally at this point and they realize this ain't what you want? They not happy. A week straight with the kids. They ain't got nothing planned. They done crept up on them. They got to have breakdowns. Do you know anybody like that, Shawnee?
I know several people like that. I know my children. One of my children has that issue right now. She tried to give me my granddaughter for the week, but I told her I had plans. Oh,
she didn't know South by Southwest was going on? Because grandma got a life and yes.
I have a life. So, I mean, but I know some parents that are teachers and grandparents that are teachers, so they're excited, in a way, but then it's like a little bit counteractive if you do have kids at home. It's like I'm leaving the kids in school to be at home with my kids all day. So it can be a little stressful, but I try to tell people like there's like oftentimes a lot of free stuff to do. You just got to get on it real soon.
Yes.
Looking at the local libraries, those websites, looking on Facebook and just typing in free events for kids. What's another? I mean, because I still do this as a grandparent because when they come over, I need to have a plan.
Yes.
And I think that's part of the problem. A lot of people, they fail to plan for whatever reason. Whether it be time, whether it be rest, whether it be their single parents, they don't get a lot of help. But definitely trying to plan ahead of time for stuff to do, collaborating with other parents to kind of maybe take turns if you have that trusting parent that you can leave your child with. Okay, don't be dropping your kids off with people around the corner and they just moved in. But, just trying to plan better to do that. And I know some parents are a little bit frustrated, but that's why I was trying to get my little kids events going and stuff. I wanted to have something this spring break, but I, again, didn't have time for other people's kids.
Yes. So I'm kind of curious. For those of us who are, let's just say, we are operating from a more comfortable place than some of the parents who are in manic mode, hair on fire, that I'm making fun of today. Should we do more? Like a couple of us, can we be inviting? I want you to know, I did reach out to a homie. He had just moved here. And I said, yo, I know you out of town. This dude's over in Alabama right now. And we linked up with him and his wife and his 2 kids. And I said, hey, if wifey need anything this week, I got an extra car. I know a mechanic if anything go down. And then let her know if she wants to get together and we all do something, since it's spring break. I did that once. Is that all right to offer to lend a hand?
I mean, it's definitely okay to offer because, if some people don't ask for help, they have an issue with asking for help because they don't want to seem like they're not in control, I guess, fear and shame and maybe a little guilt. And then also, too, it could be because if they are not their kid, I know this might sound bad, but sometimes children change from year to year. And this once good child that was okay has now transitioned into this little mini demon. So they don't want to send their kids to anybody else.
Yeah.
So, it's many different reasons. I mean, I think a conversation might be in order if they haven't taken advantage of the offer, because I know I would. I know if I could trust you with my kids for a few days, even 3 or 4, I would have loved to have had that opportunity. But when my kids were growing up, I didn't have spring breaks off. It was all mom.
I was kind of curious about that. I got another one, but what do you think it takes nowadays to help people feel more comfortable? Because I feel like I don't see a lot of what I used to see when I was coming up, of people getting together, someone saying, oh yeah, let me help you out with the kids and things like that. Everyone I know that I can think of in my immediate circle, I feel like that ain't there. It's always, nah, I'm good. I'm good. Nah, I'm good. Nah, I don't need your help. I don't need. And to include, I'm just picking on my buddy that's in Alabama. I mean, he said himself, he's like, man, we keep the circle tight. We don't trust a lot of people. And the first thing I was like, yo, I understand that, but I'm trying to help y'all because I feel like y'all don't have somebody to lean on because you just got here, and I want you to be set up. Do you think that is something that has gone away?
Culturally, yes. As a people, we have trust issues already. And then just with the state of our world and how people think and just how, I don't want to use the word deceptive, but like how some people can appear one way, but they have these ulterior motives for, maybe your child or even sometimes you, because we have a lot of Black movies now on on Tubi that show a lot of crazy type betrayal type stuff that, I mean, for me, growing up in my era, I wouldn't even thought of stuff like that, but people have those fears. And I think that social media and our entertainment circuit feeds into that fear of, I don't trust my neighbor, or I don't feel like I could trust my kid to be over there. But I think small steps are important. Maybe before spring break, maybe start setting up if the kids are small play dates, so that you could try to build the trust. And then that way it's a build up to this big final thing or this big thing for the year of having somebody's kids for spring break. Um, I used to watch kids for spring break too, but it is a trusting thing, and I think that was more so because I worked at the after school program, so I
Yeah.
was already with their kids for like 30 hours a week. So, and they knew how my children behaved and how respectful they were, and there were no signs of them being abused or being fearful of me, and they did normal kid things. They were free and explorative. I think those are some of the signs that you know that a child might be dealing with some stuff. If they're not free to explore and be
Yeah.
open and be themselves, they get a little reclusive, they're a little fearful, they second guess themselves. And so when you're a parent and you have something happen to your child, it's like devastating, and so a lot of people don't ever want to fear that. You want to be labeled as a good parent, labeled as a good mom, labeled as a good father, making good decisions.
Yeah. Oh no, I definitely understand. I'm going to come back to that. I think that one's got some legs. I didn't know it was going to be that interesting. I'm going to come back. I want to go to another little item here. We're going to talk some entertainment. So there's a news publication, an entertainment publication. It's called Delish, and they have an article. This is it's by Megan Schultegger, and she just published this just a day or two ago. She said Megan Thee Stallion took a shot of liquor with a snake in it. Now, I'm just gonna kind of read you a little bit of the article. I want you to get all these details.
Okay.
So it starts off, while a mere shot of tequila is enough to send shivers down my spine, Megan Thee Stallion is a fearless drinker. The rapper shared a TikTok on Thursday trying the liquor Habushu while visiting Japan. And it has more bite than Jose Cuervo. Quite literally. The Okinawan rice liquor comes with an actual coiled pit viper in it. And yep, it's often put in the bottle still alive and then quickly drowns. LOL. Should I know, y'all, of all the food drinks I've been trying out in Japan, I just had to taste this dang snake drink. That's what Megan captioned the video. And then she said, is this going to kill me? He's looking at me. She said, before she downed the shot, she still drank the shot. And then after she took it, she said, that's tough. Okay, Shawnee, I know that everybody lost their mind. I see your real reaction there, which is why I'm so glad I didn't want to give you this in our pre-production meetings. What do you say about that? This thing is alive when it is put into your bottle.
I've yet to eat anything that's still alive, that's not human. So I don't. I mean, entertainment is entertainment, and experience is experience, and there are
Yes.
people that want different types of experiences. And I mean, one up is real. One up is where somebody does something and you want to do something better. I
Yes, you
do it,
do.
then you want to do something better. And I believe that our younger generation, and she's not young, she's somewhere in the middle, but she's coming out of that.
Yeah.
I think that, as we start to grow and we're still in an entertainment center, we have to find different things to continue to feed our entertainment level. And that is something of entertainment. I'm glad she's okay, but definitely not a me thing.
No.
Uh, definitely not a me thing. Like you tell me that if I eat something that it could do this, well, except for sugar and coffee and alcohol. Okay, anyway, but something of that magnitude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something of that magnitude that may cause me pain, I guess. I'm not for that, but yay for Megan for doing that. I don't know how many people in our culture have done it, especially when you start talking about things like that for people that look like us. like we don't do that, but it just seems like as the years go by, we're having more and more exploitative things that we like to do, but it's more so the people with money that do this. It's almost like they get bored with it, or I don't know. But I mean, you know, an experience is an experience. I mean, she might have been in a mood or whatever while she was over there, and I just want to try the most dangerous thing I can. And, you know, she did it. So
I want to come back to something you said there. So are we talking possibly something cultural? And I'm gonna add something later, but I want to get this while you mention it. When you have money, when you have the means, does there come a point, especially when you're on the come up? You won't raise with money, but now that you have it, this is your moment to say, I ain't got no limits.
yeah, I mean, it can be seen as such a thing. I mean, you know, no one can really say what they would and would not do once they get to this money, because it opens up doors and windows for you to experiment, try things. I would say get away with certain things. And so, and then also pay your way out of situations. You know what I mean? Like you have access to better medical care. So if something like Megan Thee Stallion did have an incident, she could probably, just because she's Megan, be swooped up and out to the best hospital over there, you know, that sort of thing. So with us, when we get that kind of money, and a lot of people, they may disagree with me, I think you get a small little white card. So, can I say that?
Yeah. Well, you did. But yeah.
Well, we came up with the black card. You know, we taking it from people that do things outside of the cultural context of what we feel is black.
Yeah.
So I think the little white card, because it's little, it's real small.
Right.
It's real small. And it could disappear.
So small, you need a magnifying glass.
Yeah, but you got one, you know, and it's okay. It's good today, but it might not be good tomorrow.
Right, that's the
your
stuff.
skin is every day.
That's why you gotta use that magnifying glass. It's like, but I thought, oh, right here it says
all the exemptions and disclaimers, you know. So
right.
I for us, and then a lot of us that actually get to money don't come from money, so there's been no education on how to manage that money, especially a lot of it. You know, growing up, my father was save something for a rainy day, and I was like, well, shoot, it's raining. Can I make a withdrawal? You know, and so my mother, you know, she would say, you know, budget and balance and always pay your bills on time. And we have a lot of us that are doing those things, but it's a comfort level. You know, they don't take the risk. Like a lot of people, I love the fact that a lot of our people are in stocks and trading and stuff like that. You know, when that stuff came to me, it was woo. But, you know, once you understood it and you can actually do it, it became a platform to aid in other areas of my life. So when you talk about having more money, and having the inability to understand the concept of how money comes back to you, because you can spend and spend until there's no more to spend. And culturally, we do that.
Yeah.
Because I think for some of us, not all of us, the buying, the oxytocin level and the dopamine that you get in buying something new and you have the power to do that. I think that's a part of the generational curse a little bit. You know, some people may disagree, but it's embedded in us that if I spend and I spend better than you, then I'm better, you know, or I can fit in over here, or I can look a certain way so that I can attract a certain thing. And it comes from just acceptance of who we are. And it's become, it's a worldwide phenomenon now, but you know, for us, it just continues to perpetuate how we have been oppressed.
No, I'm in agreement. I mean, the first thing you got me is what if I say this to you? Let me drop something to you. Couldn't afford a car, so she named her daughter Alexis. She had hair so long that it looked like weave, that she cut it all off. Now she looked like Eve. And she be dealing with some issues that you can't believe. Single black female addicted to retail. And, well, I mean, what we talking about here? That you hit the nail on the head, Shawnee. You spitting it. You spitting it, Shawnee. You spitting it. We know. The brother talked about it. And you right back on it. But there's something else that you said there, and I'm just kind of curious though. Now, isn't that now you, me, and anyone else that streams now or downloads and listens to this later, we got to fix it from here going forward, because now we know. Maybe our parents didn't have these conversations to have these two people on the screen like you and I are right now, but there's some parents, there's some peers that right now have to say, dang, they right. Now, what they going to do about it? But when you don't know, you don't know. But once you know, you got to take it within self and then maybe push it off and help someone else. Right?
That's correct. That's
I'm always so curious about that. I saw there's a meme going around, and I think it was something like, you know what? I'm going to look this up, because I don't want to be wrong. What the person said was along the lines of, she's a school teacher. I'm going to find it just briefly. Quickly. I'm going to try. Let's see. Yeah. So it says, everything you learn late, teach your children early.
That's a true statement. Like, I'm fully behind it. I mean, other countries are doing it.
When I was one of the most popular radio segments I've had was the day I started explaining to the world game. I started snitching on the game. The good thing is I'm still looking over my shoulder. There weren't no PIMPs waiting in the parking lot, because I was dropping stuff a lot of people ain't never heard before, Shawnee. And I was just telling them things. Shawnee, I'm going to date myself here, but when I first started college, 12 Play came out. And that's part of the reason why I didn't finish college and I had to go into the Army, because with great power comes great responsibility. That comes from Spider-Man, but it is true, because it factored into this man. I was out of control. I had just learned about silk sheets. I had them. I had a king-size bed in my little dorm room. One other little thing. A red light.
Okay, Mr. Noop.
It ain't even about me. It's about the ladies that were in my sheets. They ain't never heard or seen none of that stuff either, which was why I was so successful. And so I'm talking to people about that. Shawty, is that my fault? Or is it their auntie, their grandma, and their mother's fault that no one told them the game that they learned or didn't learn? Maybe as a parent, we should have put them on. Oh, I know. I got a Uncle Donato. Let's go have a conversation with him. What do you say?
So when you said date yourself, I mean, around mid 80s to the early 90s or whatever, I feel like the dating game kind of changed, because the mental or the mindset of people coming into the late 90s, you had music videos coming out, you had different types of music coming out. There was Luke and Bounce It and all this other stuff, and all that stuff started to take it started to reconform people and how they viewed women, how they viewed themselves as what a man is supposed to be like. And so it just kind of fed that energy to where it became, because I also grew up in a time frame where I went to a couple of dances with my parents, and I would watch how the men would approach the women to mac it up or whatever.
Yeah.
Ask them to dance, they would go dance. There might be some bumping and grinding or whatever. And then, a number exchange and people part ways, or people take them home, or open doors, take off your jacket, put it on the leg. So chivalry's not dead, but there was definitely a lot more of it back then, to where it made a woman feel safe. If men don't understand that basic concept about making a woman feel safe, then you should not be dating, period. Because that's one of our first things. It's one of the first needs of anybody, especially if you want to talk about the hierarchy of how things are supposed to go in a home. You got man, woman, child. So if you're up here, you have great responsibility, and your main one is providing the security and safety of your family or your
Yeah.
mate or whatever. And that concept is kind of lost
Yeah.
in some respects. And it's because I feel systemically they broke up our families. They broke up that whole concept of how we are supposed to be as a family, our unity as a people. They took away our men through drugs and jail and gangs and stuff like that. They took away our women by just having them out there trying to do everything by themselves. And so all that stuff is now, it's manifested into this thing to where nobody knows their role. Nobody knows how to be in their role. And I'm not saying just a man and a woman role, but just whatever that role is you are in your life, to where if you are the child, you are the child of the home. And so you maintain a certain level of respect. If you are, the woman of the home, I'm not saying, I know some people may say submissive, whatever, but a woman submits to someone that makes them feel safe. And if you have to use an iron fist and physical and mental abuse and manipulation and all those things, you're not really getting that pure respect from her. It's out of fear. It's the same thing with your children. If you are doing these things to your kids and manipulating them and I say mind fucking them, then you're not getting that authentic respect from that person. And without that, it just keeps going on. The next generation, the next generation, the next generation, the next generation. And at some point that ant pile gets big, So
I'm curious then. We started talking about this earlier about spring break. Some people don't ask for help. Some people don't offer help. So is it on some of us? Like, I'm making jokes about checking over my shoulder in the parking lots. There ain't no rule about stitching on the game. Well, some games, but not that game. Not that game.
Right. Yeah.
So
you just lose a little friends.
Right.
Friends.
But I'm just very curious here is are people going to take notice? The first thing I said to my wife is I said, blame your mama. Whenever I do something, and she's like, oh, Lord. And, the whole movie's like, this is who I married. I always say, blame your mama. Now, I say that about her dad sometimes, too. I want you to know I'm an equal opportunity accuser. But every time I have said that, I know she's been like, Dad, you're right. Make sure I tell my daughter about this. Let me make sure I pass this along. So I hope in the future, I don't even have to go down that lane, because she's going to be saying, look, I want to play. I didn't get played, but I know your dad used to do all this. So this is the game. Is that how it's going to happen?
As a mother of two daughters, I tried to pass that on because I was raised around men, uncles, boy cousins. And so I saw the game unfold in front of me. I heard the things that were said, and I was just like, nah, I don't want to be one of those girls. I just don't. So I have my own, being in Los Angeles, but I think that what your wife is doing is good. I know I've seen on Instagram where they say you can write a book that you can pass on to your children or grandchildren and stuff like that. So that's actually a good idea for any parent that's out there that definitely wants to see change in their family and be passed on to grandkids, great grandkids and stuff like that, is to write down those things that you see in yourself that you want to change to make yourself a better person. And then that can also encourage your child to do the same thing. And then maybe there could become this family book of, this is how we break our generational curses, by first acknowledging them, bringing awareness and talking about it, and not feeling so shameful that, yeah, uncle such and such did this, or my dad or mom did this or that. But yes, it happened. I can't change it. You know, I forgive you, or you forgive me. Let's figure out how to move forward so that this doesn't happen again. Because a lot of times the things that we do to others have been done to us, and we don't recognize it sometimes until later, after the cause and effect, you know. Because there are times when I have I have a private Facebook page called Failure to Launch, and the dedication of that is for parents of adult children. I call them ACs. They're adult children, because you get into the whole mindset of, oh, I'm not a child and this and that and the other. I'm gonna forever be my mom and my daddy's child. I'm just gonna be an adult one, but I'm gonna forever be their child, because when I fill out applications, it says name your children. So that's what I put down. But you have a generation of young adults that want to operate in the sense that I am this adult doing adult things. And I just like, having kids, sex, just because you got a job is not all to adulting. Like, I'm still sometimes learning how to adult when it comes to my responses to people, because they step on your principles and your values and things like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, how am I going to respond to that? And that's the growth that comes from all of us within. Is how are we responding? Because your response is based off of how much you're letting this person get to you before you process the information and then come to a conclusion that this is the best way to respond to this. And I'll be honest, with PTSD, sometimes my best way is just to vacate the premises. So, you know, but that's still, but the adulting part comes in. I need to come back to talk to this person and try to resolve the issue that caused me to need to leave. Because nothing got resolved there, except for there was no hands-on training.
Well, I mean, when we know better, we do better.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, you know, parenting is difficult. And like on the page, I have parents crying out for help, you know, asking, what do I do? They have adult children living with them. But in this economy, we got people living with people, people living with other people, on top of people, inside of people. So it's like, at this point, we've reached in our economy where your adult children may have to be in your home because they can't afford to go get a place of their own to live. And that might be your mama or your daddy's fault. So, you know, I have an adult child living with me. They've been, but they're daughters, and they go back and forth sometimes because the choices that are made don't always sustain. And so as a mother, you know, you just try to be available for them to help them try to get back on their feet. But it does have to come with boundaries. Boundaries have to be there. You know, boundaries are something that's important for us all.
Yeah. I did not know that we were going to go there. I really liked it. I'm so happy. Shout out to Icy Walker. That was actually her LinkedIn post that she had. And I really like it. Those, to your point, there's little things like that. I'm so old school. I always say to myself, and I say this to my wife, I say, man, I want to print that out so I can use that later. You know, that's that old head right there. It's like, yeah, let me print that out. Put that in a filing cabinet in a drawer so I can pull that out later. But we in the digital age. But whatever you can do that can help you remember, because you mentioned something there. You said PTSD. You know what? I don't know about them ladies that I ran all that game on. I don't know if I ruined them. I don't know how they felt on the back end. I know I ran into one lady one time. She was a country girl from this little small town outside of where I'm from. And that was her first time in a big city. She used to work out a lot. That girl was so strong. She made me start lifting weights. At that time, I was just playing basketball to stay in shape. We just messed around on my silk sheets one day, and we got to pushing on each other. We was on equal stance, just kind of pushing each other on the bed. So she pushed me off the bed. I went sliding. I looked up, Shawnee, and I said, but I may have to start lifting some weights. Might have to start working out. This girl's strong. I cheated on her. And then I told her about it, like right after. I feel bad about that. Sorry about that. So for me, it broke her. She started crying. We didn't really, like, of course, we didn't have any more conversations after that. So that was, let's say that was freshman year, first semester. That summer school, I saw her. And she was pleasant. And I was like, hey, how are you? And then the first thing she wanted to unload on me, I didn't even ask. Yeah, I'm in a relationship. His name is, let's just put out Rodney. He's in a wheelchair. But at least this time, I know he won't hurt me. She didn't have to give me all that, but she unloaded all that and put that on me. I just had to take it. Even then, I'm glad I just took it. And now when I look back on it, I'm glad I just took it. And I didn't say anything else. But yeah, I feel bad about that. I'm not saying I became a different person after that. Because that I had to grow up and be more responsible later. But in my mind, because the way I was raised, I thought, see, after I cheated on her, I thought I needed to tell her, to be honest. Well, it didn't work. So I did lose the girl. And to this day, I'm glad I was honest. And that trait is in me. So I wasn't as bad as I think I was. But I thought I was bad. I want to go to one last other little thing that you said during that point. You were saying that we're influenced by a lot of things, and media is one of them. Shawnee, when people know that I lived in Los Angeles for a while, especially being an East Coast dude, everyone always asks me, is it true it never rains in Southern California? I get asked that a lot. So I just want to ask you, for those who don't know, if you didn't catch our previous live stream, you don't know anything about Shawnee. She's from the CPT. So you can't get more Southern California than that. Literally, USC is like a quick bus ride for her. So what happened? Because I think maybe you were just going into the military at that time, or maybe that came out and then you went into the military. Mm-hmm. Are people leading with that? How many people be asking you, is it true? That's the first question. Second question. Do y'all say that?
I'm sorry. That should answer your question. I'm sorry. Yes, people still ask, but not as much as it was in the 90s. Because most people have visited there or something by now. And that song is over 20 years old now, I believe. And so some people ask it now as a funny. They ask it out of being joking. Yeah, so people still ask, but just out of correction, because I got to correct this, because if any of my family is listening, they're going to be like, bitch, no, you're not. I am not from Compton. I am from South Central Los Angeles. So the movie where you had Ricky, all of that, that's where I'm from.
Oh, so, I am so sorry. I am so sorry.
It's okay. My grandmother lives in Compton, but it's all right. That was like a second home. So she still has the same house since 1985, I believe. Yeah. So it's the second home, still the same phone number or whatever, and that's a warming feeling to just still be able to call my grandmother on the same number she's had since I was a child. So, but yeah, just want to put that out there. But
no, you're right.
We know that it rains.
no, I pushed that on you because the very first 213 I ever met was when I was stationed in Korea, my first duty station. My roommate was 213, and he was from Compton. So in my mind, 213 is Compton. I don't know anything else. That's all I know. The dude used to walk around in 213 shirts, and everybody, man, he had a mystique about him. Now he was Mexicano, so he played it up hardcore. He was He was t-shirts, he was khakis, he was chucks. He was looking down his nose all the time. Bruh, you in the Army. Now, he didn't claim to be anything, but he claimed to be of the style. And he rode the style hard. And so, yeah, that unfortunately, that's all I got. Yeah.
It still happens. The dress code still happens. Like, I've always dressed different anyway, but it still happens because, like, I go home and I see family members still in Dickies and all white t-shirts and chucks and shell toes Adidas and stuff. So it's still a thing. It's still a dress code. But yeah. But I mean, that's LA, you know?
Yeah, it is. Well, you know, I'm an East Coast dude. And I think on our first time together, I said to you, when you came in the Army, how did you dress? And then you started telling me about your diversity of thought when it came to fashion and the things that you get into. And I remember you said Timberlands. And I thought that you embraced some East Coast fare. But I'm going to tell you, yeah, that's still a thing. That's still part of the dress code. You can still come in with all the colorways now and the different fabrics. That outfit is still getting hit with a bunch of Tims from a couple OG, triple fat OGs. Still rocking it. The same way they did in 93.
93 was a good year.
At this point, those who are live streaming are saying, I was born that year. What are they talking about?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yo. Hey, that's all right though. That's all right though. We explaining some stuff that they might not even know about. No, because fashion is cyclical. You know, our parents, bell bottoms, right? How many times in your lifestyle have bell bottoms come back in or you've seen someone rocking them and not get clowned?
Oh. Well, I mean,
I'm going to say twice. I think
twice. I say twice. I've seen twice. It was when the skater era came out, you know, when pop music for us started being a lot more, you know, vibrant. And then also we started having more black skaters.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that wasn't a thing for us, you know, to be on a skateboard. And then you had some of these young black kids who just picked up a skateboard. And so now when you go to skate parks, you see more black kids than you have and before, because we now have access to these places to be able to go skate freely. Because being from the hood, you know, you be skating over all kinds of stuff. You won't make it to the end of the block, you know, on a skateboard before you bust your butt.
Yep. I'm going to tell you, I was a black skater in the 90s. And there were places that you weren't supposed to go and skate. Now, the people who said that, they ain't look like us, because I was the 1 in 100 of us that out of 100 skaters, there was only one that looked like me. Boom. But I could go skate it. You want to know why? Because I lived there. My cousin lived there. So, I wasn't scared to go to Churchill and skate. Because what I'm in there. And so I remember the first time I took a group of skaters to a couple spots throughout my hometown, and the entire time, this is what they doing. Swimming. They can't even enjoy the moment. Scared to death. And I'm like, wait, first of all, hold on, man. We downtown. We not, that's Gilpin Court. That's Jackson Ward. Like, those are the places I wouldn't take you. But, man, we downtown. What y'all scared of? Look, the bus go right there. Look, that dude works over there in the judicial court. Like, that's an attorney walking past with an attaché case. You all right, son? Like, let's just do what we doing right now. But they were scared out of their minds because what they were told, downtown was rough. Suburban kids. And they never did that. But I'm telling you, they were alive. And by the time we got back to school, they were able to tell the stories of, oh, we went downtown and we was ripping it. And the whole time I'm like, yeah. All right.
Experience.
Yeah. But so, yeah, the experience was the most exciting thing for me. So I want to just fill you in on one last thing about that drink that Megan took. Habusha was actually an energy and libido boosting beverage. In fact, it was even formerly sold as a medicinal tonic. Does that sway your opinion?
Did she have a meeting after? She had a meeting. If she had a male meeting after that drink, I could see why you may want to, I mean, she's been known to say that her libido is pretty high in her songs. I don't know how accurate that is, but if that was the goal of it, to see what it might do to the libido, then I want to call it research.
You gotta know. Isn't that what we do though? When you go to a new spot, Shorty, you be like, yo, what y'all doing out here? Let me tell you how y'all do it out here. Well, when they show up and they tell you how we do it out here, you gotta do it.
Well, but the thing is that, I mean, it's an extreme move. We have the younger generation. These are some extremist youngsters. I mean, my goodness, like you could have did anything else in Japan, but I know the food and the delicatessens and stuff like that is something that people actually go over there to experience, and it's a part of the culture. So I can understand that part. I mean, I'm not judging her at all. I'm just saying it would not be me. That would not make that other little fish that they say you could take it and you have a high percentage of dying or whatever. I don't need that fish. Just give me something that I know I can eat and that's gonna allow me to leave here with a full stomach that's not upset, so I can move on to my next experience. I mean, just being there, I guess for me would be enough, because I like lights and colors and all the cultural stuff, but I don't need that one. So, but again, shout out to Megan for doing it for us all, taking one for the team. She did that.
She did it.
And I hope that her libido took off and she got an experience that she was looking for, a secondary one. I hope it worked out.
Is it when they say something like that is an energy boost or libido, is it just the fact that after you get it, you want to run and spit it out? That's your sudden burst of energy. And the libido is you just so happy to be alive after said incident. You want to go live. And I'm just saying.
Are these like definitions that you looked up for libido? Because last time I looked up the definition of libido, it wasn't. It's. Well, I don't know.
So I was colorfully trying to.
I was trying to catch. I was like, okay, so you dancing around. I'm not sure. We probably have to ask Megan. Like so I said before, what was she doing after she had that drink, or who was she with,
you did,
and that kind of determines why you might be doing something like that. We, especially, sex and drugs are high on some people's priority list, and so sex can be a drug. They have classes and anonymous groups for that, but
yes, they do.
So it's whatever her goal was, I hope she ascertained it, because that sounds pretty interesting. But I don't. Again, I wouldn't advise it.
No.
I wouldn't advise that.
I saw the video.
If you got money for healing, cool. You got money to go heal yourself or get it extracted or whatever. I mean, hey, I'm just trying to figure out when it came out on the other end, was it normal? I don't know. Never mind. I went there.
No. I mean, I looked at the video and I thought a lot of the same things. It did look like the Viper was looking at her, because it was almost one of those things, no matter how the bottle was turned, it kind of looked like the thing was looking at her. So she was correct there. And when people die, don't their bodies don't they expand, and sometimes things get exerted, and all that is in the alcohol. So that's another reason why I was like, wait, hold on. Is what we doing? I just said, okay, so let me offer you one other little thing. Megan Thee Stallion isn't the only celeb expanding her palette lately. On the very same day, Cardi B took to TikTok with a taste of her own. She sampled a balut egg, where it is a duck egg embryo. She almost immediately spit it out. I'm seeing a response. Tell me how you feel.
We talked about the one up thing, and so that's just a prime example of the attempt to one up somebody else. And and it could be PR related, as a person that was a part of an organization that was PR, your advice is to advise somebody to do something or not to do something in the best interest of the organization or a franchise or whatever. And they both have brands, and they both, have people to feed and mouths to feed, and they got to keep the numbers up. So, um, but Cardi B is colorful in her own right, and I could just see her, doing that, and I'm sure she made it a little bit more entertaining. But it's still, I just, again, you have money, you have time, and again, you have an image to uphold. And since they're both in the same entertainment slash music genre, it's if I'm a PR person, I'm gonna tell her, hey, did you see this video? All right, any ideas? What you got? We in the boardroom on the phone, trying to have these conversations on researching what else can I swallow
Yep.
that might be life threatening or whatever the case may be, but I could still possibly not die. So it's
Yeah.
just those conversations that are held. So I mean, but these distractions, that is what they call them, distractions, kind of are there on purpose, and I'll leave that there.
I'm kind of curious here. For those of us, this is going to be point of view. Now, this is not any shot on you and your relationship status. It's just a question that we want your point of view on. If you had a date with the most beautiful person on the planet, but you have to cook for them, what you cooking up?
I'm such an elaborate person. I keep getting dinged for never giving a short answer. But it just depends. I guess if in my opinion, if I've known this person for a while, I'm paying attention to what they like, what they dislike, which is important for allergies, but more or less for them to enjoy it. What I'm not gonna cook is something that their mama cooks for them that they love so much, because that is out of the question in the beginning. So even though I can cook, I'm not even gonna try that, because the first thing in someone's mind, the way our sensory works is, what we taste goes to the signal in the brain. If it doesn't taste like mom's, it's going to be probably considered, oh, it's all right.
Thank you.
So I would not do that.
No.
I would probably cook something that I know that I'm good at, depending on what my resources are, what I have access to, and if I know I'm dating somebody that's a simple person, or it's not simple, what's the word? That's not so elaborate of a person, I'm probably going to cook something, country meal, country home meal, soul food, something like that. But if it's a person that's exotic, because most beautiful people tend to be, I might try to find something that's still a little bit simple, not too difficult, so my stress level is not high. I'm not trying to stress myself out behind somebody, but that still is something elegant to a degree. So I guess, surf and turf is always a go-to. Definitely not spaghetti. That's a basic meal. Something pasta wise. I do like seafood pasta, so I would definitely probably cook something too that I would like, something on the top of my list that I enjoy, and try to find that, if that answers your question.
No, I like how you broke that down. See, that's why we got you, Shawnee. That's why we got you, because you made me think some things there, and I was like, yeah. If you could invent a new holiday, what would it be, and on which date would it be on? Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna skip my first thought. Second one, no, it's too political. Not even gonna touch it.
Okay.
So the second one, if I don't. That's a good question for the second one. I don't know if a national day. I think there is a national day for that, but I would say Good Deed Day, maybe. like kind of like how they have the pay it forward day, I guess. So like a good deed day. Um, and it needs to be above a 5 or more in regards to the level. Like, you know, holding the door for somebody would not fall under that 5 or above. It would be something a little bit more impacting for that person.
Yeah.
You know, reparations.
Hey, that's that's a good one. That's not a bad one. To just it's just called Reparations Day. I'll tell you, Reparations Day come around enough. All those people that was like, nah, I don't even understand why they talking reparations. At some point, it's gonna be like, dang, dog. Now that I've learned so much on Reparations Day, because you're gonna be learning, you're gonna have to go stick your head in some sand and not learn. You're gonna be like, dang, we probably should go ahead and do that reparations, dog. We might as well, because now that once you know better, you do better, right?
Yeah. So I think it would be Reparations Day, you know, probably be one of the happier days of the year, but for us, but definitely Reparations Day. And again, it still ties into doing a good deed on the people that are reparating.
Yeah.
You know, so hey, that's my answer.
Shorty, I'm gonna ask you your point of view on this one. I gotta set it all up. But it sounded like when we talked, man, I keep plugging our previous podcast, but you know, if they want to know about you, we focused on you. So they're gonna have to go back and check that. It sounded like your parents did a good job, and they really you were brought up in a good, loving home, and they tried their best. That you weren't hurting like a lot of families. Like, you know, you have friends that might have had a hole in the wall, a hole in the roof, or a hole in the door. But bear with me here. Why was your mama always so afraid that people was going to break into your house when you were a kid? Nowadays, you think, oh, let me upgrade my couch. I've had it for, 4 or 5 years. Did you or any of our listeners out there, did any of y'all ever have a couch that lasted your entire life and that you lived at home with your parents? Because nowadays we are not our parents. We getting a new couch just because the feng shui. My mom didn't say no feng shui. Thank you. My mom ain't say that. But us, oh, that ain't right. Oh, we just painted the living room, so we need to match. What were our parents worried about back then? Didn't nobody want to break in the house and take stuff? And I don't get it.
Well, I guess depending on where you live, you did have to worry about that. And then, of course, when the crack era came about, you did definitely have to worry about stuff walking off as so-called family members come to visit you. So, yeah, it's. I know people don't typically experience that so much, but when crack hit hard and heavy, you did have to worry about that, the bar doors and the bar windows and things like that. But as far as funny here, you talk about a couch, because there's a couch, the little, I guess, I don't know if it's not pastel, whatever that pattern is that you wear, it looks like flowers all intertwined. It starts with a P, I think, and men wear it in their tie, and it looks, I can't even think of it. It's not even coming to my mind right now. But we have a couch anyway, one of the old couches where the wood framing around the side, around it's all carved out on the little wooden legs. That just came out of plastic last year. And that couch, there's a couch and a chair. So when my grandmother passed, she had a couch and a chair that were still in plastic. I took a picture in that chair at 5 years old. And I've been able to take a picture of that same chair with my granddaughter in it when she was 1. My dad still has that chair in his living room. My mother has the same kind of couch in her home that was there. And she just took the plastic off. And so she was just like, her friend told her, when you go, thank you. That is it. Yes. You was thinking, I saw your wheels turning.
We got there.
Woo, we got there. Awesome. Yeah. But yes, so that, and the plastic just came off of that. My dad still has not taken the plastic off of those 2 pieces of furniture. But he had this sectional couch that I remember laying on, sleeping on when I played basketball in high school. And that couch transitioned to his new house that he bought in Riverside. And when I came home, I still saw that same black couch. And
Yep.
he was like, "That's a good couch. We didn't have nothing wrong with that couch." He's like, "I cleaned it and everything. I took all the stuff off of it." I was like, "But Dad, like when you sit right here, like I'm like a whole foot lower than the
Yeah.
person that's sitting next to me. There's no stability on this couch." So it's time to get a new couch, Dad. And it's funny just to watch you know, my parents and the people before him in that age bracket where nothing is unrepairable, irreparable.
Oh,
It's like everything can be fixed, and if I can't fix it, I'm gonna take it apart and I'm gonna use these parts for something else. But
now
it's
you end up
always
with some
cool.
Frankenstein
Yeah.
furniture.
Yeah. So the furniture thing, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I
So that was the next part I was going to ask for our listeners. But you're here. Does your mom still have a couch that you grew up with? And
Yes.
I think a lot of people do.
Yes.
It
Yes.
proves
Well,
that point.
that couch, I know, you know, she could actually sell that couch. So here's the thing, like having things in your home that could be considered assets. And that couch, she had it appraised or whatever, you know, at one point. And that couch, I think she could sell that couch for about $3,000, if
Hey,
not more, because of things like movies need those sorts of couches for staging. Some people want it as like some type of collection and stuff like that. And just some people like the nostalgia of those old pieces of furniture and stuff like that. So of course she didn't sell it because it's a part of her parents who are now, you know, our grandparents are now deceased. So she's holding on to it for dear life. But she made it fit in the living room with her modernized stuff. It still
yeah.
fits because she just will not let go of that couch. And I get it. It's cool. It's nice to see it. It's a remnant of my grandfather. So it's nice to see it.
We were talking about people and their kids and the differences. See, that's why they stuff lasted. Because how many times did we get screamed at, stop jumping on my couch? Don't sit on that arm of the couch. You sit in the cushion. You sit there. Don't act a fool on it. Nowadays, people with their bad kids, their couch ain't going to last. That's why they got to go get something every 3-4 years. Do you agree?
Yeah, to a degree, and then sometimes we still get stuck in keeping up with the Joneses. But I wish
Oh,
a
yeah.
kid would jump on my couch for longer than 2 seconds, and I'm gonna be like, you know what? You need to find your parent before your butt finds your butt finds my hand.
Yep.
But you know, that's kind of the environment that I grew up in. But it it does baffle me with some of the things that you do have to tell these young adults nowadays, like stuff like don't park in my driveway. You don't pay bills here. Don't park in my driveway unless you unload. And then when you're done unloading, you need to move your car. If you borrow something that does not belong to you, you need to return it. Hopefully you've asked to borrow it. Things like that, like this level of entitlement for our younger generation is just profound. And like, again, it circles back to our intake of this social media where the world is mine and it's me against the world and I don't need nobody, and 2024 is all about me, 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 me. And it's like that is not the basis or the foundation of us as a people. It's not. We were the people that taught other people how to be a people. Those are facts. You can look them up.
Oh, yeah.
As far as cleaning, how to keep things clean, keep things in order, take care of your children, take care of home. Those
Yes,
things
ma'am.
came from our people. And so it's almost like we've flipped it upside down now, where everyone seems to be on survival mode, and they're not slowing down to take in the things or to remember the things that they were taught to pass on to their children, or they don't have time, you know, whatever the case may be. So it's it's really sad, but shout out to all those young adults that are, I don't want to say doing what your parents want you to do, but being a good representative of your
Yeah.
parents,
Yeah.
especially if they sacrificed, worked hard to make it so. You know, not saying you got to do everything to please them, but when I open my mouth about my child, I want it to be in a positive light where I could say, oh, little Joey, he's doing fine. He's doing great. Not little Joey's in jail. Not little Joey is on that shit. Or not little Joey is
Yep.
out here with 5 baby mamas and 10 kids. You know, not little Joey is sleeping on people's couches or you don't know where he is. That's not what it's supposed to be. And there's no accountability for a lot of these young adults. It's always mom's fault. It's always dad's fault. It's always you didn't and da 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 and I didn't get.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it's like, come on now, everything cannot be always about what the other person did. You know, it has to
Oh,
be some accountability.
yes.
Like, I remember when I was a social worker, one of the things that stuck with me in class was a question that said, well, what percentage of this problem did you create?
Yep.
You know, because there's 100%, but you're going to sit here and say that's 100% this person's fault, but you're included in the equation. So what percentage of that problem belongs to you? And when you realize that, even if you feel like it is 10%, then that means that there's some growth, there's some learning to do, you
Yeah.
know. But I think that the hustle and bustle of our economy has taken the parenting option away from a lot of us, because there's 24 hours of the day, but if you're spending 10 to 12 at work, 3 to 4 in a commute, 2 hours at the grocery store, maybe you might get a chance to help with some homework or get down and sit down and have dinner. You know, they say have dinner by 6 o'clock, but who the hell is at home at 6 o'clock nowadays? Nobody.
Nah, there's a
So
bunch of
you're not eating.
practices going on for me.
Right. Exactly. So it's like it's hard because everybody's trying to get to that next level in life. Well, a lot of us are. I'm gonna say everybody. And so when you do that, you neglect something else. You neglect something else. And I've always felt that I didn't want to neglect my first investment, which is my children. I remember when I was at Fort Hood and I was stationed there. I was in the National Guard at that time. But I was going to CTC, Central Texas College, and I was, you know, in child development. And I learned about giving my attention to my child when it's time to. You know, they're at school all day with somebody else's influence, whatever color they may be. Most of the time they weren't black. So when they got home, my cell phone went off. This is around the time when everybody started having the iPhone. I think I had an iPhone 3 or something like that. And my message basically said that if you're calling at this hour, I'm unavailable. This is the time for my children and my schoolwork. If you can't reach me after 9 p.m. after I put my kids to bed, then I'll have to talk to you later. It was something to that extent. And that was my message. So people knew not to call me at that time because that was the time for my kids. I was teaching them about doing chores and keeping up with their room and helping with their homework because that's their time. And so if I feel like I want to go to college or I need a second job, I need to try to figure that out outside of their time. So sometimes I did have to work overnight. I had the night sitter come over so my kids wouldn't be disturbed. You know, my schoolwork and all that, I would either have to wake up at 4 or 5 o'clock, do a little bit of work until it's time to get them up, or I would have to do it after 9 o'clock. And that's what the sacrifice that's missing for a lot of parents is, making that sacrifice of your time. Get off your phone. Like literally there's a screen time checker on your phone that will tell you just how addicted you are. So that's my take on that.
Some don't know. When I used to get home from school, I couldn't wait to watch something. It was called Gilligan's Island. And I got a question.
Yes.
Was that reality TV for us? Because I felt like it was. We tuned in every week because we expected every week they were going to make it off, right? That's what we thought. We just knew somebody was going to come around
and save them.
Was that the first reality TV for us?
I think so. That and The Love Boat.
Oh. I like that one.
And what's his name? Jack Tripper? I forgot.
Three's Company?
One. Three's Company, yeah.
Hey. Even at a young age, I remember thinking to myself, man, he lucky. At a young age. Now, I don't know what he was supposed to do, but I know I remember thinking, man, he lucky. He lucky.
Most men in America felt the same way.
I don't know what he was supposed to do. At that age, I couldn't have told you what he was supposed to do. But he was lucky.
Yeah, he was lucky.
And
Okay.
I thought they did a good job with both landlords. I liked Don Knotts when he used to come upstairs with his scarf showing off that 70s flair.
Yep. I
That
loved his
scarf was
dress.
legit. And then the old head, because I wasn't homophobic, but it was funny. And I laughed at it because every time Jack would do something, get caught uncompromising, and be like, I don't know, maybe Jack is. I'm with you, Mr. Landlord. Look at that. Look
We
at
all
Jack
felt that way.
sideways. Okay. You add it. See, I just had the one, but you got me with a couple of the other ones, and I appreciate it. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Here's a question. This one we go on a point of view on this one. Why do men get over relationships so much faster than women? The lady seems to take her time. No, that's it. That's it. But I'll offer a little more. The lady seems to take her time before it hits social media, and we all know about it. You got to catch a girl out on a date accidentally. Know that she's making moves just to know that she's in something else. Guys just move from the X to the next. Am I right? Am I wrong? What do you say?
I could say a lot.
Oh,
I don't, because again, I don't like to generalize. There are some that do that, but sometimes it's just out of the desire to not feel alone. I don't want to say be alone, but not feel alone. As humans, we all want some type of stability or feeling thereof, and a place where you could have a semi sense of safety, sanctuary, and belonging or welcoming. And that's why you have pimps with their bottom bitch, because that's what her job is to provide, since we was talking about pimping earlier. But, and sometimes when people have a desire to be in a relationship, they may not be ready for it. And, you guys are taught to sow your royal oats, or, go out and have as much fun as you can.
Yes, recklessly.
And that's and that's looked upon very differently.
Yes, it is.
For you compared to women. And then that's why, because of that status, that's why a lot of women frown upon people like the person you were talking about earlier, Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B, how they talk about their sexual exploitations, whether they be true or not. But it's the thing like Glorilla and all, and Sexy Red and stuff like that. And that's appealing or alluring to some people, because when you start living vicariously through somebody, and a lot of people live vicariously through the music that they listen to, it becomes, just this, I don't want to say, I hate to say fantasy, but it becomes a thought of what if, maybe sometimes. But for a woman, we can't go shopping like that. I mean, there are some that can and get away with it or whatever, but I don't want to generalize. I want to say that the majority of women don't want to live like that. We don't want to hop around from one person to one person, because the soul tying concept is a thing. It really is. And we women, we tend to conform to the mate that we are with. Like you may have noticed with your wife, like she might do stuff that she didn't do before when y'all were not dating.
Yes.
When y'all were, when y'all first started dating, that now she's picked up from you, whether it be watch football now, or whether she likes to wear your red socks.
She does.
Things like that, or just sayings that you might have had, that she now says. And that's because we mold to you guys.
Yeah.
You guys don't typically mold to us.
No.
We mold and conform ourselves to you guys.
You're right.
And I think it's because that's what we're designed to do. We're nurturers, we're carers, we want to give. And that's why when you put man and woman together, we are the receiving entity of the affection, as we dance around with words. And so that's how we are designed. And so when you get with somebody that wants to be a whoremonger, it's a little devastating, because most of the time we've given as much as we possibly can, if not all, to conform.
Yeah.
For you to go and make another formation with someone else is, it's not the best feeling. So I yeah, that's it. That's my
No,
point.
no, no. You nailed it. Shawnee, we're going to stay on point of view for this one. We all have that one friend that will never be happy, right? They'll never be happy in a relationship. They'll never be happy with the job. They'll never be happy with a car that they have. They're not happy with the neighbor. We all got that one, right?
Those people are like ex-friends for me. I don't.
Well done. Well done.
I can't. I don't have the capacity. I don't have the cataloging for that. Like,
I like that.
And people that navigate to bullshit and drama and stuff, I can't deal with it. I just don't. I have people that I don't want to say it's nothing personal, but but I guess it is a little bit, because that drains me. I'm an empath. So being empathic means I feel more. So when people are negative around me, it drains me. It brings me down. Like, I can't be around overly depressed people. I can't be around people that are so negative all the time. And that's why I don't counsel anymore. That's why I'm not a social worker no more. That's part of the reason, because I don't have any more catalog for negative stuff. Like, it literally does something to my body. And so, having a negative friend, it tells me just from my education that person lived in a household where there was a lot of guilt and shame, and that's how it manifests. Your parents talking to you in that manner, like how we were talking about kids and what can parents do. It starts from home. And if more than one person, I'm gonna even give them benefit of doubt. If more than 5 people are telling you the same thing about yourself, then honey, boo boo child, it is time to update, modify, re-upload, download new software, whatever you need to do to yourself to grow. Because if you feel alone, or you feel like you can never have a good friend, and all your friends are always in some mess and it's draining you, and you up on the phone early in the morning trying to see what the tea is, that's exhausting. Like, if you're not working for TMZ,
right.
Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Like, you have your kids or your education that you're trying to pursue, or your job that you're trying to get a promotion at. And if we focus more on those things, then we have more positive things to talk about. And yes, it's not to say you can't talk about negative things, because I have to talk about negative things too, because there are things that hurt me, hurt my feelings, that don't go my way. But you can talk about it, process it with somebody or someone close to you or whatever, or with a therapist, and try to grow and move on. But negative friends, I can't. Family members too. I can't. Once Maya Angelou said it best, people show you who they are the first time.
Yep.
And I sometimes, as an empath, give you 2 or 3, depending on how you're moving. It depends. There's only so much I could take. But, giving somebody a second chance goes back to that Southern thing of first time, shame on you, second time, shame on me.
Yep.
And I learned that from my first ex-husband. So
we all gotta learn. We all gotta learn.
So it's still a growing pain. But I try to, I'm not saying I've always done this, but I always try to at least let people know. And I know if there's certain listeners and they might be saying, no, you did it with it, whatever, and that's family. But if I've already told you once or twice and maybe even 3 times about how I move, and I'm not trying to do that with you or go there with you about whatever it is, and you still keep violating my boundaries, I gotta let you go. Gotta cut bait, and I'm okay with that now. Now, I would tell everybody that's listening that cutting bait from people that you love, cutting bait from people that you've known, and that whole thing, people try to, we go way back, man. We knew each other since grade school. That's great. That's great. But if you value that as much as you want me to value it now because it's comfortable and convenient for you, I need a little bit of reciprocity. Yes. You have to value my boundaries and what I'm talking to you about, how I would like to move. So then that way we know how to move together, and that might be moving apart, and that should be okay with everybody, So.
Yeah, that was exactly the most perfect answer. I'm clipping that one. Yeah, we gonna have that one. Do you believe that the act of observation changes the behavior of that which is being observed? For example, the old expression, a watched pot never boils.
So in school, another school reference, I had my own little acronym called LFO and LFE. And I would tell my children, like, sometimes you have to determine if you want to learn from experience or if you want to learn from observation. And I've been a more learn from observation type of person when it comes to my social realm, I guess you could say. You know, sitting back and watching somebody else put their hand over the fire and say, ow, and burn, that's a learn from observation. I don't need to go experience that. I.e., if I know that I go and violate somebody's person, that's assault.
Yeah.
I don't need to learn that from experience either, because I know that I could go to jail, get hurt, you know. And it's not to say that things like that never happen, because you get heated, you get boiling, you know, you get upset, and you get to this point where you kind of sort of blacked out or whatever, depending on the level of the assault on your person, you know. But learning from observation, I would tell anybody, try that first.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if I'm watching you go bungee jump and you come back up throwing up, I might not need to go bungee jump. I mean, especially if we're in the same age bracket. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to pass this one. Anybody want my ticket or something like that? You know, depending on if I went up there to like do it, I'm going to do it, then I'll do it. But that's fun. But when we start talking about life choices and life experiences, everything does not have to be learned from experience, young people. I repeat, everything does not have to be learned from experience.
Yes.
Like with the fentanyl epidemic, like you see what it can do. Why go do it? You know, I don't know what's the other one, the one that makes you, there's another drug that was out too that make people just pause and just freeze up, and you've seen people just standing in the street just out of their minds. You know, you don't have to go learn those things from experience. You know, you can learn a lot, like I said, from observation. So I'm a firm believer in learning from observation.
I want to know here, name a song that makes you think of your ride or die.
You threw me off when you said ride or die. Shucks. I don't know. Like, this is where you might have me stumped. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, because when you, let me tell you why. So I love karaoke, right?
Yeah.
And for some reason, you know, everybody's brain is different, no matter how smart they are or how, you know, unsmart they might be.
Right.
My brain, for whatever reason, when people ask me something, music on the direct fly of name a song, name an artist, my brain freezes up. So like if I go to karaoke, I literally have a list of karaoke songs. If I go there, I'll be flipping through the book forever. And then if people say, oh, what you gonna sing? Everybody has a go-to song, but it's like as soon as I get there and I say I'm gonna sing or put a song in, my mind go,
yep.
It just, I lose all, I can't put songs and artists together. So, I mean, that's what just happened to me.
No, I'm gonna tell you what the one is with me and my lady, which I'm hoping it is entertaining for everyone to a point. It's 21 Questions by 50 Cent. For she and I, it's always been that.
Yeah.
How deep is our bond? Another one. That's the one that was her song that she called for us. The one I had before I met her was Mary J. Blige and Method Man. You all that I need. I'm an East Coast dude, so So you know it's gonna be an East Coast song, but those are the two. And
I have so it's We by Jeremiah. So it's OUI, that song. I just thought about that now. It just hit me. You gotta forgive me too, because it is early in the morning and I've only had a half a cup of coffee. But that's one for me and current mate. As far as other people, I don't know, because I typically erase those thoughts somehow. I leave it, I put it in a vault and lock it and throw away the passcode.
And you said a we?
We, OUI by Jeremiah,
Yeah.
Jeremih.
Okay. For those who don't know, yeah. Most of them
Oh, how
be
you give me
dollar
a second?
signs to make every day your birthday and every night your Valentine.
Yeah.
If we tried that, we could be somewhere the climate is warm, long as you're around me.
As
Ah,
long as you around me, I swear that everything will be just fine. Just
yeah.
that I keep take some
When you
time.
look
Yeah,
at the
that's
lyrics,
my jam. Yeah, the lyrics are killer.
I know the song, but when you look at the lyrics, okay, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that one. See, that's why we ask this stuff, so we can
Yeah.
learn something and get other people thinking and talking. If you're out playing basketball with your love interest and they fall to the ground and have a cardiac moment, are you letting someone else do the mouth resuscitation, or you getting in there? That's all you. You got to do it.
Of course. Of course. And yeah. I mean, that's a non-thinking response. That's just, yeah, let me do this. I mean, but if somebody's there already doing it, I guess coming from a medical field, I would probably let them continue on, and I would call 911 or be there, hold their hand or something. I'm not that uh I guess territorial like that, because I mean, we're talking about a life-saving situation. Because if I were to do that, I might be deterring that person from doing that for somebody else in the future. So I
I see
think
that.
that I would, if they're doing it and they're doing it right, and I don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, 'cause I don't think it's anything different than the paramedics coming and it's a female paramedic. I mean, the paramedic might be gay or homosexual. I mean, I'm not homophobic or nothing like that, but it's like, shit, if you saving my loved one's life, do what you're doing, because you might know something I don't, and then I might be too frantic, or I might not be, whatever the case may be, I might not be physically able to do that. So I'm not territorial like that. That would be real. For you to think about something like that, it
Yeah,
says a lot about you. If
but
you're thinking about
I
who's
wasn't done
giving
though.
your loved one mouth to mouth and they're having a heart attack,
Right,
and you
right.
worried
But
about who's giving it, that means you have some toxicity somewhere
yeah,
floating around.
yeah. So here's
And
the
that's a
other part
problem.
to add on to that. What if they fine as hell? What if it is? Remember that most beautiful person on the planet? What if whatever any of our listeners' interpretation of beauty is, that Joker bad, and
So
they
she
in
has.
there.
Wait, so if this person
Winner.
wait, no. My answer. I know you probably know it. You probably think you know what I'm thinking, but my thing is like, I'm going to try to twist this to be a little beneficial for all of us, since
Uh-huh.
social media wants to monetize stuff. I'm about to go live. I'll be like, I got the most beautiful person in the world giving my man mouth to mouth. Y'all see this? I can watch my likes run up and maybe
Yeah.
get some monetization, some money
Yes.
coming in for some funding for this problem.
Yes.
My
Yes.
breast up to have about 50,000 followers and a little monetization on my Instagram. So that's where I'm at with this. Like, we a team.
Right.
Like, let's get this money.
Yeah. Oh, that's exactly it. I didn't think about that way, but I like this is why we wanted your point of view, because you went a whole different direction I wouldn't even have thought. I only have, this is why I want to do this with you, because I only know about what I think. I think of this content, and I had no idea it was going to go that way. I think most of our listeners, I think most people are be like selfish, jealous. You did not go that way, so kudos to you.
I'm not really a selfish or jealous person. So when jealousy does pop up, and of course I've learned here recently that jealousy and envy have two different meanings. Envy meaning that I kind of admire what you have. I'm glad you have it, but I wish it could be me. Whereas jealousy has more of a negative connotation, where if I could take it from you or hurt you doing it, then I would, at any given opportunity. And jealous people I try to keep away from me. Because again, I don't want to be Selena. Just they say keep your enemies closer, and I understand that, but I'm not. I don't want to play chess. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like if I have that in my life, I got to continually be playing chess with that person when I could just extract them. And if they have a plan to come for me and they're extracted, they spend a whole lot of time on me. And I hope that I become a martyr when they get me, because you put in all this work, write a book about me or something. I don't know, like how you came to sneak up on me, you know. So I just, I don't know. I think different. I'm not ashamed of it.
I got one. This one is too long, so we're gonna save that for another time. I This will be the last one before we go. The time flew by. That's good though.
It did.
What are we out here looking for in relationships? And we know you're in a great one, but we just having conversations for the people. What are we out here looking for in relationships? What are people looking for? Is the first part. What's our perfect person? And you know, this is a very different answer because this is you now versus you years ago as a young buck, still trying to learn about yourself and learn about life. What is that?
Well, first off, it can vary between men and women and what they're looking for. And you'll have some people say they're looking for something, and then when they find it, they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And that's where a disconnect starts. And I think, I think that we collectively as a people, we seek physical pleasure. We want that pleasure principle to be activated. You know, the laws of attraction play a role in that as well. And so you have some people that are looking for the aesthetics of a person, and they never get to know the internal person, you know, because they only met the representative.
Yes.
And not taking the time to get to know somebody before being intimate with them, I feel is the first failure. But we have music that tells us it's okay to do that, and it's really not. I mean, most of us have been guilty of that. You know, I wasn't virgin at marriage or nothing like that, but you know, looking for a perfect person, I don't think that that person exists, because life can change you at any given moment. You have the death of a child, you have the death of a parent. You don't know where you're going after that,
Yep.
because grief is very, very strong. Grief is almost as strong as love, in my opinion. And so looking for the perfect person is like a fallacy to me. There is nobody perfect, because I'm not perfect. You know, you hear it in songs and things like that, but what does that mean to that person? Like, you want to ask your mate, what does it mean to be with the perfect person? And honestly, I wouldn't even want to ask my mate what the perfect person is, because if you say, you know, light skin, biracial hair, and pretty toes, and nice soft hands, I mean, I don't have none of that. I mean, I
Yeah.
got army feet, I got my grandma's hands, I got my daddy's hair, and I'm proud of all of that because it's who I am. So
Yep.
a lot of people are not comfortable in their skin. They're trying to compete with someone else, mom, kids, which is the craziest dynamic right there. But, you know, other people in the family or other people they work with. And it's like, stop competing and stop comparing. I'm gonna say not stop competing, but stop comparing, so that way you can start to be comfortable with who you are, and
Yeah.
that way you can place yourself in the world to know what you want in another person. Um, you know, and then just talk about being ready for another person. Like, if you're a man and you don't have nothing to bring to the table, or if you're a woman, you don't have nothing to bring to the table, then I think, in my personal opinion, that you're not ready to add on to that equation. So as far as, I don't look for a perfect person, because I've dated a huge I don't even know. I've dated a variety of types of men, from short, tall, black. I've dated non-black, um, you know, heavy set, skinny, you know, okay looking, fine, all of that, because I'm a sepiophile. So if you can't stimulate me mentally, we can't have conversation, then I'm already not attracted to you. No matter how fine you look, you're just eye candy or entertainment. So I think, as an individual, you do need to ask yourself, like, what does my mate, what does my comparable mate look like? What do I need from a person? Because there's a lot of people that don't need financial security. They've got
Yep.
that. Like, what's the model's name that played in Players Club? You know, she was talking about, this person needs to have X amount of dollars to date me. And it's because it's like, I don't want to be trying to help you get to where you are, because then that takes away from the enjoyment of the relationship. Because now I'm building you, and I don't want to be building like that. I want to build the us in regards to being compatible, you know. So yeah, just checking a list for yourself and figuring out what that is. And I know we've seen movies like The List and stuff like that, where people have, oh, he's got to make this much, and he's got to drive that, he's got to
Yep.
drive that, you know. And I understand that, but if that's what you find, great. But if you find somebody that at least has some basics or some sense about themselves and treat you well, you know, and I guess that won't come in and take from you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they're coming in trying to reciprocate. They're coming in giving all that they have. But also, if you're a person and money is your driving factor in a lot of things, that might not be the person for you, no matter how good it is. Like with, what is it? Think Like a Man movie, you know, with Taraji's role. She had a CEO job. Old boy was not whatever, but he was still trying to give him all, but he still had goals and a dream. And I think communication has to be there. Like, you got to keep talking and see if people stay consistent.
Yeah.
You know, because you could say, I want to do this, I want to do that. But shit, if 90 days later, now you want to do this, now you want to do that. And then another 90 days later, now you want to do this, you want to do that. Well, we need to come back and start from ground zero, and let's stay the course with this one thing first. You know, people, again, they show you who you are the first time. Like, if they're reliable, if they're accountable, if they are a narcissist. And a lot of women need to look up and stay vigilant on the definition of narcissism, because those tend to be or end up being abusive relationships, not necessarily always physical, but sometimes mental and emotional. And then you get broken down to where then you bring that on to the next relationship, and you haven't healed from that trauma, because that is traumatizing. You know,
Yeah.
with the narcissists, they're good at what they do. But I think, you know, like I said, make the list, see what you desire, and then be realistic. Be realistic. I don't have a problem with being taken to the Cheesecake Factory.
Hey, first of all, I think it's economical because you're still getting a free meal. I mean, you got to spend
Yeah.
time with the person, but
Right.
I never have gotten that. You're going to a place to eat and you ain't got to pay. Man, you take me to. I eat McDonald's. I mean, if it's, I wouldn't be offended, but that's me. That's me.
I think you should find out what someone's intentions are, though. Like, what are your intentions when you're taking me out? Like, some people are just so happy to be asked because it's one more notch under their belt. Oh, I got this person asking me, and
Right.
he this or she that or she this, you know, he this and he that, and you get caught up in the whole facade of it all, that you
Yep.
didn't do the basics. You didn't ask no pre-qualifying questions. Like, what is your intent? Are you looking for XYZ? And that's why I said you got to be careful of the narcissists, because they're going to show signs, because they're going to just talk about them. And then you have those sneaky ones that'll just sit and let you talk all about your woes, pains, ups, downs, and they pick out your weaknesses so that they can log that later to be able to manipulate you. So just being mindful of that and asking somebody, just like when my children were growing up, every person that they tried to date, I brought the young man in. You know, the father was not here with me, you know, but I brought him in. I know one time I did have my 9 on the table, but that was in my younger years. I grew, I learned, I grew, I learned, but I was still young and I was very protective of my children. And I was just like, what are your intentions on dating my daughter? You know, and those are questions that should be asked by the person that's, you know, deciding that they want to go on a date with somebody. Not asking questions leads to a lot of revelations later on down the road that you're just like, oh my God, I wasted so much time. Oh my
That's
gosh, I
exactly
wasted
what
so
I
much
was going to say.
money. Oh my God, I put all this effort and energy and love into this person, and now I'm scorned, and now I don't want anybody. And I think that's where the I don't need no man syndrome came from, because I'll be the first one to say I need a man, because my way my pelvis, shoulders, and back are set up, I'm not supposed to be lifting all this heavy stuff. I'm not supposed to be doing certain things. Yes, I might be able to do certain things, but in the presence of a man, I think that there are things that you probably shouldn't have to do. Like if I have a box that weighs 50 pounds, my body's not built to lift that, you know? And you guys are. Like, you can have the skinniest man, 130 pounds. He'll lift up something that's 50 pounds with no problem, because you guys are structured that way. And, you know, of course, it's still a role thing. It can be kind of confusing, you know, for some people, because sometimes it's still even confusing for me because of how I was brought up and how I think now. You know, I was brought up with both houses. My mother, my father, and at my mother's home was my grandfather, who was a pastor. So and my grandmother was the first lady, and I was the first grandchild born. So I got to see all of this, and setting the table, and the mannerisms, and being quiet when certain men are talking, type of thing, you
Yes.
know. And so you just decide at that point, like, what you want to pull out of that and what you want to carry on. And so some of it I still practice. Like, I might be outspoken and stuff like that, but I know that in a room full of men, that the role thing is still there, still a man's world. And so a lot of people still fail to learn how to pick and choose their battles
Yeah.
with your
Yeah.
kids, with people at work. You know, everybody, oh no, I gotta say what I gotta say, I gotta say what I gotta say. And I do that sometimes, but it's definitely within more often in a safer context, of where it doesn't backfire on me. You know, if
Yep.
that makes any sense, like me lose my job if I was working, or, you know, me not get that favorable action from somebody because I blurted something out of my front, out of my thinking, you know, and it's now created this issue between me and this person where it's not going to work out for me.
This was a lot of fun, Shawnee. Appreciate you taking the time, and appreciate those that were in the comments. And
yeah, thank you.
I saw some people chiming in. I don't have all the screens open, but you know, when I looked, I saw we had a Facebook person. I didn't check LinkedIn, so only one person came into the comments over on IG. But thank you everybody for listening in and starting your day with us, whether you were commuting or you were already at work or you just around the house and you threw us on. So we appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Shawnee,
Thank you.
It was as great as I always expected to be. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me, and I love talking with Donato.
And we love talking with you. Have a great rest of the day.
Have a good Monday. Bye.